So we're going to meet two people today. So Tim Dorsett, his job is to make people happy within the organisation. And Tansy Drake, she's been with Innocent for 9 years. She's a senior creative, and she's going to share a bit about what makes Innocent buzz. So a big round of applause for the team from Innocent.
So I'm Tansy, and I'm senior creative, and I have been there for 9 years. So I've seen Innocent change quite a lot. But there are certain things that make me get up every day and be motivated to go to work. So I thought I'd just share that story, I guess, of why Innocent is a place you don't mind going to on Monday morning when it's raining, and why you're inspired to do a really good job every day. So these are our products. Hopefully you've all seen them. This is what we make. And I guess just reminding us of that is the first thing every morning. We make things that taste good and do good, and it's a motivational thing to have to do every day. But it could have been so different. So this is the first label that we first designed. I guess the theory was that it was a natural product and you got it straight to London from the field. But we always remember this because actually, what's in a name? If we'd gone with Fast Tractor, I think we would have been a completely different company. And the word innocent actually means a lot in so many different ways that it's one of the reasons the whole story hangs together for everyone who works there. And this is a spreadsheet from back in 1999 that was by the three founders when they were just sort of leaving university and working out what Innocent could be called. So my favourite part about it is that we nearly weren't called Innocent. It comes about like, could it be a good club night? Does it go with virgin vodka? And then any other comments about Innocent, it's good, but it's potentially a bit aromatherapy. And I think we've got this up on the wall as you come into Innocent because it could have been so different if we hadn't gone with that name. But we did. And I think it then leads into how Innocent started. Do you all know the sort of the yes and no bin story? I'll quickly whip through it because that again is, I think knowing the history of where your business has come from is such an important factor to know that you can impact the next chapter. And Innocent's story is quite a sweet one. So there were three friends who went to university together. They'd always wanted to set up a business. They'd done club nights. They'd done silly things at university. But they wanted to work together once they'd left. So they went off and got professional jobs. It wasn't for them. So they thought, what are we going to do? They had a final last-ditch attempt. I think it was on a snowboard weekend. And they said that by the end of the weekend, if they haven't got an answer, then they'll just stop talking about it. So they decided on, quite quickly, they narrowed it down from electric baths that were going to get the temperature right for you before you got up in the morning to something healthy that was going to do people good. And they took £500 worth of their savings. They squashed that much fruit into some bottles. And they went to a small music festival in West London. They put up a big sign above the stall that said, should we give up our day jobs? And they asked people to vote with their empty bottles into a bin that said yes, or a bin that said no. And at the end of the weekend, the bin that said yes was full. There were a few in the no bin, which I think were from their mums, who were a bit worried they were going to give up a real salary. And they all called each other's bluff. And that Monday, they did go in and they all resigned. And I guess that's the beginning of Innocent. And knowing that part of the history and that you're part of that something special where people took that risk is an incredibly motivating thing to have every day. And we're now part of Coke, which has a history that's 150 years old, but also being part of that history, it's just part of the journey that I think keeps you all part of a whole. So we've gone from small acorns to a few years ago being part of the biggest show on earth, and that was we were incredibly proud partners. It was an amazing moment in our journey that we got to be the official juice and smoothie partner to the Olympics, and we had a great time. But again, that was part of being part of the Coke business and being able to be there. So again, it's just that part of the journey and knowing where you've come from and where you're going. And I think the thing that keeps us motivated most every day is that we actually keep it quite narrow. I mean, Innocent's known for doing all sorts of creative things, but you've got to bring it back down to the main thing every day. And this is one of our favourite examples. So this is a company in California. This is their head office. I don't know what a Google would look like, but can you guess what these guys make? They make baskets. So someone made that call when they were moving into a slightly big office that they were going to make it look like a basket. So every morning they know why they're going to work and they're motivated to do so. And I guess this is an opposite example. To that point, motivate people with stairs, don't give them another option. Really know what you're there to provide. And so this is where we're going. So we have quite a, I guess it's quite a punchy vision. You know, we want to make natural, delicious food and drink that helps people live well and die old. And I think some people question us about having the word die in a vision, but you know, that's what we're here to do. We really believe in that, and it motivates us every day. And then we have a set of values about how we're going to get there. So there are behaviours every day. And you know, they're all, I think of anything that we do at Innocent, the values are the things people hold up the most. We really do use them in meetings. You know, is that the commercial thing to do? Is that the generous thing to do? Is that the responsible thing to do? They all have equal weight, I guess. And I think the commercial thing, again, is the thing people sometimes pick out when they see this. Because we do a lot of great work, but we are a business and we're not a charity. And I think it's always about finding that balance between all five for us. And then I guess the other part, we're really famous for what we make and that they're really tasty and delicious, and that motivates us every day, but we're also renowned as a brand, I guess. So knowing who we are is really important to us. So I'm in the creative team and I have a really clear understanding of what our brand is, but we make sure everyone in the business has that understanding, because every single person in the company is living and breathing those values. They know what we're trying to achieve, and they also know that they're a part of the brand as much as anyone. You know, if they meet someone on the street and they're in a bad mood, or they're not, I guess, living the Innocent way, then that's going to detract from the brand, because someone's going to have met that demotivated person and it doesn't hold up to what we all believe in. So just knowing clearly who you are is really important to us. People sometimes say it's these words. We actually think it boils down to being natural, honest and engaging. And if you're not those three things, then you're not anything at Innocent. And then it comes down to having your own voice. So this is Wes Anderson, and he's got a really important, well, a really clear style, I guess. And I think that's really important to Innocent. We have a really clear tone of voice. I'm going to whip through the words, because for us it's really important. We're trying to have a conversation there. The last place anybody ever wants to be talked at or talked to. You know, anyone just wants to get in and get out when you're doing a shopping, and having a conversation with someone is the last thing on their mind. So we've got to have a really clear position, I guess, and personality to make any headway. And back in '99, it seemed to work, and we've had amazing response. We get this is our consumer wall of love up at the office. People make us tapestries. We've had hot water bottles. We get letters from children. You know, pets seem to love us as well. So it's worked, and I guess that's another motivating factor. Once you start getting that feedback and you know that people are listening, it definitely gets you up in the morning. And I think they've responded not just because we know who we are and we know where we're going, but because we try and be interesting. And if you are interested in what you're saying, you generally take people on the journey. And it's a lot harder to sell that story if you don't really believe it yourself. So believe what you're saying, be interested in, and you'll be found interesting. This is an example from a Moleskine. Does anybody have a Moleskine notebook? Now really, a Moleskine is just an incredibly expensive form of writing your notes. But they've made it incredibly interesting. They write this amazing little book, little note that they tuck in the back of a Moleskine, and it tells you about all the amazing people who've also had Moleskines. You know, your notes might be as important as Ernest Hemingway's or Bruce Chatwin's, and you create that story, and people will follow it. You know, you've created a little piece of history in that tiny bit of book. So I guess that's an inspiration for us about being interesting. And inspired, the thing I think we're most famous for is our packaging. So, you know, you could just have the nutritionals written on the back, or you could try and clear as much space as you can to talk nonsense. And that's the bit I do every day, and, you know, that's a fun job. But it's about making sure that you keep it interesting, and you keep finding new ways to tell that story, because really all we do is squash fruit. And there should be only so many ways you can tell people about that, but we still keep trying to make it more interesting day by day. For example, on the bottom of our bottles, so every time we have a new product or we're changing machinery, we write as many new stupid little messages as we can in the plastic molds. So I think it teaches you to think differently, and it really teaches you to think about the details. So sweating the detail, literally every full stop, is something that we do every day. And I think it's really easy to underestimate that effort And that level of concentration that goes unnoticed. You know, I think it's when you really make an effort that people respond. It's not just the big adverts, it's the really tiny details as well. And then penultimately, for me, I guess we have an attitude quite like you've heard from at Google, that you've got to be entrepreneurial, and this is the entrepreneur's brain in our mind. You know, people will be telling you no, but you've just got to keep your brain saying yes. And if you have that attitude, you can achieve anything. People told us no from the start. You can't make products that are fresh from the field. You've got to put all the preservatives in, otherwise it's going to go off. You'll never sell anything. And it took the boys, I think, 18 months to get anyone who would even squash the fruit for them. They thought they were so crazy. But if you keep trying at it and you believe in it, then you're going to get there. For example, we've put enjoy by dates on all our tops. It's not a best before, it's not used by. We just think you're enjoying our product, you know, so we should imply that on the top. It's another instance of the level of detail, but we had to go through a right old ball ache to get that past any of the people who'd stock our drinks, but we thought it was important, so we went for it. But we also have to remember that that attitude you can take for granted. So I don't know if you've all seen our Big Knit campaign. So we actually managed to get it on the telly at Easter for the first Christmas for the first time in 10 years. But we started this 10 years ago. Crazy little guy called Adam, knew Adam at the time, and he thought it would be a good idea to get little bottles, get our bottles, get the public to knit hats for them to put on them at Christmas, and every bottle sold with a hat, we'd give money to Age Concern, now Age UK, to keep older people warm in winter. And people thought he was crazy. You know, even within a young, vibrant, entrepreneurial company, people thought he was mad. Who on earth is going to spend the time for free and knit you hats? No one. We're going to have to get them from China, and that's totally against everything we believe in. You know, let's move on to something else. But he really believed in it. He got his granny, I think, and a few of her friends. They started with 35 hats. He got the local corner shop to give it a go, and they sold out in a flash. So I guess you've then got the commercial argument that it works, but you've also got an amazing campaign that 10 years later, I think this year we had, was it 4 million hats we've managed to get made? £1,250,000 Yeah, so, and that's all by the public. You know, we don't pay anyone to do it. People just love the campaign and they get knitting for us. So I guess this is our reminder that even internally, where you think you've got it all, it's important to remember that you should keep challenging yourself. And I guess finally, for me, is that we have a very open culture, but you've also got to keep listening outside, because it can get very internal, and you just got to make sure you remember who you're doing it for, and listen to them, I guess. So this is our old office, sadly no more. I mean, this takes it a bit far, and we did get a few break-ins, so those signs eventually had to come down. But I guess it was that welcome to Fruit Towers. We love people coming to visit us, and Tim's going to tell you a bit more about that. But being open and honest and remembering who you're doing it for is the most important thing every day, and the most motivating. You know, every time the banana phone rings, it rings around the whole office. It randomly picks phones, and it's up to everybody. It's their responsibility to pick it up and have a conversation with who we're doing it for, whether you're in finance, whether you're right in the back of pack. Remembering why you're there every day and who you're making stuff for is incredibly important to us. So this is our favourite example of listening out, and then I'm going to hand over to Tim. Thank you very much. There you go.
Everyone had their chance to read that wonderful letter from Nicola. Straight to the point. We like that. So hello, I'm Tim. I'm a brand ambassador for Innocent, and as it was said at the beginning, it is my job to make people happy. Yes, that is a real job. Yes, I'm paid to do it, and isn't that brilliant? It's an amazing company to work for. I've been there for just over 2.5 years, and I've been totally swallowed up by the brand and by the company and by the people. My job is not to care about how many smoothies we sell. I couldn't give a toss. When we have every week we have a Monday morning meeting, and sometimes it's good news and sometimes it's bad news. I really, really don't care. As long as everyone's working hard and are happy in their workplace, then I'm doing my job. So here we are. This is This is what we do, as Tansy said. Hopefully you've all had them, and they are delicious. And we're available in about 13-ish, because everyone argues about where we are, about 13-ish countries. And that's through us and our distribution, not the UAE, for instance, that ship it over from here off their own back to sell. We don't class that as one of our distributors. But we're around all of Europe, just about to go into Russia, which is very exciting. And this is what I have to do to help people work better and go home happier. That's my job. And I'm going to talk you through, very quickly, because I don't have much time, but my top 10 things about Innocent and what we have. Okay? And the reason is, it's not just about making it the best place to work, but if people are comfortable and you're in the right environment and the right culture, the output is dramatic and wonderful. And if you can share that space with your friends, and we really encourage people to make friends within work, then the brand is only going to get better for the consumers, for us, and we'll be doing our job. So 10, we are very lucky that we have an inspiring workplace. We're in our third Fruit Towers office. It's called Fruit Towers because the first office that Adam, Rich and John, the three founders, had was in a loft on Kensal Road in northwest London. It was on the 6th floor of a building, and they didn't want to call it the 6th floor, so they called it the Tower. Then we moved to the second office, which was a warehouse, and we didn't want to confuse too many people, so we still called it Fruit Towers. And now finally, as you can see from the beautiful picture, we're by the canal, and it is pretty much our Fruit Towers, and we love it. We have to be aware that people are going to want to realise that there is a difference between work and home. And again, we need to let people know that we understand that and appreciate that, and the more that we can offer in that sense too, again, the happier they're going to be. 9, open communication. So every Monday morning, all members of staff, and it's in their contract to be there, will get together between 9 o'clock in the morning and 9:30 or 9:45, and they will sit down and we will share stuff. Okay, that's one member from every team has to get up and deliver something. Now, that can be from Steve Spall has got a new haircut to this is our marketing strategy for the next 6 months. The important thing is that as we grow as a company, because since I've been there in 2.5 years, we've grown by about 80, 90 people, which is quite a lot to try and keep it as personal as we can. That if you're new and someone stands up, you want to know what part of the business they're in. You want to start understanding who's around and who's in this company. And so it's important that we get to do that. In the toilets, there are these chalkboards, and you can write whatever you like on there. You can ask questions. You can tell someone what you did over the weekend, and you'll see them evolve. There have been times I've had to wipe things off that haven't been appropriate, but that's because we, as Tansy said, we have lots of guests and visitors come in. On all of our products it says, please come in and pop in, and I try not to swear. Believe me, a lot of people come in. Most of them want to try and catch us out because they think we're lying and go, ha, we're here. And we're like, brilliant, what do you want to see first? We have an amazing office space and we want to share it. We want companies to come and have a look around. We want kids to come and see, it is really just an office, but it's cool and it's exciting. And if we can incite something into these kids that are having education and realise that work's not a scary, horrible thing all the time, then we like that. And this is post-MMM, so that's the Monday morning meeting. Every Monday morning, this is from the first ever MMM, which was with 7 people, to now, like I said, 200. There is an exercise that lasts 5 minutes at the end of the meeting. That can be lunges back to desk, to walk around the car park, to playing kiss chase in the car park, to doing high fives, hugs, anything you like. But again, it keeps it personal. It keeps it for us and fun and light. As soon as you become the company that can't be bothered to do that, then what's the point? 8, the banana phone. I spend a lot of time on this thing, and it's wonderful. You get some threatening phone calls, which are also quite fun. Just because, again, it's people that don't believe that telephone number on the back is going to go through to anyone at Innocent. They think it's going to go to some third party in another country. But you call that number, and I challenge you to call it. No, I don't. No, yeah, I do. I challenge you to call it and speak to someone at Innocent, and they will give you their time. Because it is so important for us to be reminded as often as we can who we're doing this for, why are we doing it. You saw the tapestries and no one drinks a drink and goes, I'm going to knit a tapestry. I am going to send a hot water bottle holder. That's what I'm going to do. The only reason we do that is because of the brand that we have become. And we know that if we go that extra mile, those tiny little things on the back of the bottles, people respond to that. And if we can create a relationship through a piece of packaging, then we're doing the right thing. So if we can open that up to telephones, emails, amazing. Something that we did once was, our green smoothie, which is apples, kiwis, and limes. We didn't used to have a smoothie on our range that didn't have banana because, smoothie fact, it's a very good thickening agent. You can have that for free. But once we used to keep all of the emails that came from the people that had requested a banana-free smoothie. We kept all of those emails, all of those addresses, and when we made the AKL smoothie, we sent every single one of those people one of those smoothies and said, here it is. We tried. We did it. It took us 6 years to find something that made it look green and was natural, and here it is. And that wasn't, a big marketing ploy. We didn't go, look at what we've done. That was for them. That's us doing our bit because they're definitely doing theirs by just buying our drinks. Our AGM, we open up our doors once a year for guys to come and just have a look around the office and ask questions of the founders, the CEO, head of creative, senior creatives, supply chain, if you've got questions in supply chain, all around. It's important. Again, we're a company for the public, and we want to stay like that. And this was fruit stock, so we did a festival a couple of times. And this year was the year we were told we weren't really allowed to do it again because we were bigger than Glastonbury. And that's just because we were open and we were honest, and we wrote on our posters on the first year, this is fruit stock, this is what it's going to be, come along. And the second year, we didn't change anything. We just went pretty much like last year, just a bigger park in London. We didn't need to tell any more. It went well. We were really happy with it. We got out to the right people, our consumers. And this is how many consumers wanted to come on that beautiful day. And definitely broke health and safety regulations. 7, our social media is massive. And again, I'm really lucky that I can say I'm a part of the social media team. I get to do lots of the photos. And actually, really proud, that's me, sure. The little where's Wally in the hats. So that was, I think, the first quarter of hats we got sent in. That's not everything. That's just the first quarter that we got. And the fact that we know that within about 5 minutes or wherever it is, it got 400 likes. It was lots of fun to do. It got everyone involved. We were throwing hats around. But it's the right thing to do, be out there and be talking to people. And we also look for these little wins internally, as well as those external. This is Dress Up Friday. So lots of companies have Dress Down Friday. We'll even wear a suit sometimes, and we'll call it, and it's Power Suit Day. And the idea behind that is that we have the staff that are going to embrace that. I mean, how amazing that they want to be a little bit uncomfortable on a Friday, because it will be a bit of fun. Another instance of that was our floors. So no one at Innocent sits in their teams, other than the creative, and that's because, as Tansy said, it's so important, our creative side of things, that if we were to lose a meeting room and then 2 hours a day to brainstorm their creative ideas, it would be a struggle. So we give them their central table, and also the IT guys, because their brain power is too much to spread out. But everyone else sits in mixed desks, which means that it gives people opportunities to, like I said, make friends and just open up the office. You come and watch around, no one just sits at their desk. I had a complaint that I took on the banana phone the other day, and the guy was whispering down the phone and said to me, I've got a complaint about a smoothie. I was like, I can't really hear you, sir. Could you please speak up? He's like, I can't use my telephone on the office floor. I mean, that was shocking for me, and I'm sorry if that's the case in some of your offices. But we have such an open culture. People are walking around. We have breakout areas on every floor so that meetings don't have to go into meeting rooms. If you need the privacy or the technology in a meeting room, sure, use it and totally understand that. But why are you locking yourself away? Why are you not embracing the space that you work in and the people around you? So this was when we gave every floor, so we have 4 floors, we gave every floor £250 and said, make lunch for the rest of the company. And the winning floor, we will buy Domino's Pizza. And so they went mental for it. And this is the winning floor 4, through a Mexican-style lunch. They cooked a load of fajitas with the £250. They did a piñata, other Mexican-themed games, because we have a Mexican in the creative team on the 4th floor. And it's great. It just got the whole company together at a lunchtime between 1 and 2, enjoying each other's company. It doesn't take much, and for that other half an hour after they go back to their desks, they're smiling. Their output's going to be higher. That's Halloween. So, for instance, on Halloween, I dressed up one of the lifts. We have 2 lifts at Innocent. The lift became the Hellevator and was terrifying. Yeah, I know, right? Good. I put up a black curtain around the inside of a lift. I put Thriller by Michael Jackson on loop. I put up some scary masks and threw them cobwebs. It was £50 out of my budget. £50, which is not a lot, for one day where everyone came in and wanted to take photos and share that. And if they can go home and you don't, what did you do at work today, darling? I got in the Hellevator, and it was hilarious. That's what we want them talking about, not the pain that they had on the supply chain and delivering oranges. And I did that as well, and that did not go down well with Lily in our production. I'm still in her bad books. 6, I got rattled quickly. We get amazing guests. Taco the dog came in, Stephen Fry came in. There's a job at Innocent called the Superman role, which is basically our facilities manager. Why do you call it facilities manager? Look at the job spec, it'll tell you it's a facilities manager. So it's called the office Superman because he fixes everything. This guy wanted that job so bad, he came in dressed as Superman. Brilliant. It was a terrible CV, but brilliant. He knew that we were the kind of company that were going to enjoy that. Rugby World Cup player, Richard Reed, our founder, came in with the guy that runs Peace One Day, the charity. They came and run one of the big conferences from our place. This we put on Twitter. First person to come in and say that and prove their name begins with A can have a giant A that we found upstairs. I know, right? Amazing. And these people come in and they know that we're being serious, and the fact that we're just opening our doors, it should be like that. It shouldn't be a terrifying place. It shouldn't be a place you don't want people to see. You're there every day. This guy came in. That was quite cool. Mainly because the Secret Service came in as well, and I watch a lot of Homeland, so that was big for me. But the fact that we give 10% of our profits to charity every year, something we're really proud of. And one of the charities we helped last year was the Clinton Foundation, and he didn't just want to say thanks with a letter, he wanted to come in and talk about it, which was brilliant and inspiring. And again, the fact that we didn't have to do too much work to get our office in the right state for that, and we wanted these people to come in, was amazing. 5. Give them food and smoothies because they're good. But you know, how hard is it to just supply breakfast for your staff? We have an open kitchen shared area for all of our staff, which supplies toasts and porridges and other breakfast stuff. It gives them a time to take a break, and a break that they're going to like, not that's just a walk or go to the toilet. Go downstairs, get a decent coffee, have a piece of toast, you'll go back, and you'll know you have to work an extra 10 minutes after work, but it's an environment you don't mind sitting in until 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. You don't want to be there, but the better impact we can have on that experience of working late and making the day in between broken up with fun things, our table tennis tables and table football tables, great. 4, this thing, not attractive ladies, but our Lord and Ladies of the Sash. So this is our Employee of the Month. We can't call it Employee of the Month because that's boring, so we call it Services to Fruit or Lord and Lady of the Sash. So you can nominate anyone and anyone can be nominated, and then the board get together once a month and we'll decide who the winner is. These two are with People's Champions, and the People's Champions are the guys that deal with all the complaints, and I think they had a huge amount of complaints, shouldn't probably say that, huge amount of complaints on a product, and they dealt with it really well. But the best thing for me from an environment point of view is that it's not the winner that's announced, it's not just the top 3 that's announced. Any nomination that's made is read out because you deserve to know that those things that you're doing for the company, for the services to fruit, is being recognised. You deserve to know that your colleagues are recognising that extra work you're doing. So we might add another 10, 15, 20 minutes to our meeting, but that's important. And if you do win, you do have to stand in front of the whole company. Everyone gets on their hands and knees and says, we are not worthy, we are not worthy. And you can ask anyone in the company to make you a cup of tea for the month, and they have to do it. It's those little things that keep it personal, but also we need to be making sure that you know that what you're doing is going right. Our golden bottles at the end of the year, same thing. It's like an Oscar ceremony. It's great fun. I've not won, so I don't want to talk about it. I know. Our clubs. Innocent, I play for the Innocent football team on a Wednesday night. I have a game at 6:40. You can come and watch, White City. Innocent will give 50% of the money to any club that's set up. So instead of paying £5 a week to play football, I spend £2.50, and Innocent match that £2.50. That's not just so that we all look young and fresh and fit. It's because they want to encourage the mixture of the groups in the company. So I play with someone in finance, commercial, creative. It's a mixed group. And so we can, if we start offering that money, it's only a little bit, it's half. There's a budget, so they can't set up personal plane club. That wouldn't work. But we have gardening club, we had rowing club, cake club, cheese club, hockey club. It's important. We want people to be active and feel comfortable and work with their friends. This is the scholarship. These are people that work at Innocent Drinks. Every trimester, does that make sense? 3 times a year, we give away 3 £1,000 grants to people that want to do something that is for themselves. It has to be legal. It can't be a health. It can't be for like plastic surgery. And it has to be solely for you. And we give that because we want you to develop as a person. We want you to realise that Innocent wants that to happen. This guy had always wanted to make a music video. And he got up in front of the whole company and said, I want to make a music video. And The best bit about it is I want you guys to be in it. And of course everyone voted because they wanted to be in it as well. He was given a £1,000 grant and made a music video, which is on YouTube. I wasn't here at the time. But, I mean, isn't that amazing that Innocent offers that to their staff? It's not that much money on the grand scheme of a multi-million-pound company, £9,000 a year. But you're making 9 people intently, extremely happy and do something that's for them, not for the company. 2, our nature weekends, so we have 4 parties a year. We don't outsource events because then it loses the Innocent feel and the brand feel. So we as a team organise all the events. The best one was Marbella. We won't be going there this year, we're going to Luton. But, sorry anyone from Luton. Marbella was pretty special, and it was because it was the founders' last nature weekend. They stepped down as CEOs last year, and so they helped us get there. It was amazing. The fact that we offer all of this to our staff is incredible, and it's a great thing. Number 1, and this is my favourite by far, is I'd rather have a hole than an arsehole. Now that was said by the head of talent at Apple. At Innocent, we'd rather have 6 people doing 10 people's jobs that are amazing people than have 6 great people, 4 people that are detrimental to the team and to the company, and therefore the company's going to break down. People work very hard at Innocent. That's the only way that we're such a big company in such a short amount of time with 200 members of staff. It's because we'd rather have a hole than an arsehole in the team. We run everything by these in my team. Like Tansy said, being commercial is really important, but so is being generous, responsible, entrepreneurial, and natural. These are the kind of crazy things that we try and get around. This is how to make new friends when we look after new people. The red thing is mainly the people you fancy, but about inductions and lunches for the first 2 weeks at Innocent, we set you up with lunches with different people from around the company. Not just your boss, not just your line manager, not just the people in your team. We want you to go for lunch with everybody if we could, but no one's got that much money. This is my favourite photo because this is our CEO, Douglas Lamont, and he was the first person out there. Not because he wanted to be not because he wanted to be seen to be in the photo, because he wanted to be in that photo. He wanted to be in the Usain Bolt photo when we announced that we were going to be doing the Olympics. That's great. That's us in our car park. Everyone's smiling, having a good time. It's really simple, but the fact that that doesn't give you a hierarchy. It doesn't give you that's just that team. That's a mixture of the company having a great time in such a simple way. And the question I have for you, sorry, everyone that's starting at my timing skills, is I have to remember every day that it's the little things that matter as well, not just the big things, not just the trips to Marbella, but the fact that our health and safety poster is framed in a really ugly gold frame in the middle of our social area, our chill out. Because that's the little thing. Someone looks at that, they smile, they feel a little bit better. It's those little things. If you can go back to work on Monday and do one little thing that you know won't go unnoticed, what can you do and why haven't you done it? So thanks, everyone.